Good morning, Chavra. Today is the 5th of Iyar, a beautiful Wednesday morning. Water is a sign of blessing, so we're being blessed today. Right, Steve? Oh, two Steves looked up. Okay, we're on page 111. Let's start with counting the Omer on page 137. Last night we counted 20, so we're going to count together. In the Hebrew, let's say together, Hayoim, Esrim, Yoim, Shehem, Shnei, Shavuos, Veshisha, Yamim, Lo Imer. Today's 20 days, which is 2 weeks and 6 days of the Imer. Beautiful. We're on page 111 in the Chayenu. In today's lesson, we're trying to figure out, Chavra, how to love God. And the Alter Rebbe gives us some ways and means, tools, and guidance to make it more tangible than just the abstract loving God. So when the love of Hashem is still in the development stages, in the mind or in the depths of the heart, but hasn't emerged yet into an emotion. So then what happens once one achieves a real conscious feeling of love or fear? This now reaches, so there's different levels. First level is formation, Yitzira, and then it reaches a level of Bria, which is creation, which is predominantly intellectual, since this is the only way one can achieve this result, through conscious meditative thought. You want to love Hashem? You have to stop and put your mind to it. It's not just going to happen automatically. If you see someone you love, you see him, I have a 6-year-old, she comes running to me to give me a hug. It's automatic. It doesn't take much. There's a feeling, there's a visual, there's a, it's all encompassing. But with Hashem, with God, you have to actually sit down and meditate and contemplate and think about it. Said 2 categories of love. The love of that my soul, the love of a Jew that a Jew feels for Hashem upon realizing that God is his true life. Just like you love your own life. You'll do anything you have to do to keep alive and pain-free. You'll do whatever you have to do for yourself. So because you have a soul inside of you, and that's a part of God, so too, we love God because he's a part of us. So by extension, by loving ourselves, we're loving God. As long as we understand that, no, Larry, you're not coming over today? I'm guessing you have to run. So by extension, what we're saying, that since Hashem is part of you, if you remember and we realize what the essence of who we truly are, which is the soul inside of us that keeps us alive. It's funny because we think, oh, I'm real, but we're only here for, God willing, 120 years, 180, whatever it is, that number, but the soul was around forever because it's a part of God. And when we pass away, the soul will be elevated and will be around forever also. So it's the true you, it's the neshama. Okay, but we need the body and the soul to come together. So we realize that God is very much a part of us, then we love ourselves, meaning the God inside of us. That's one way to love God. And then there's loving God as he is our Father in heaven. Just like you do anything for your Father. So these 2 ways, the fact that we believe that we want to believe that God is part of our lives, part of who we are, so we're loving ourselves, and the fact that God is our Father in heaven, and we would do anything to give our Father nachas, pleasure. Even though these loves come naturally because they're an inheritance from our patriarchs, like natural instincts in our soul. So too, as a natural instinct, is the fear that is comprised in them, namely the fear of being sundered, chas v'shalom, God forbid, from the source of our life. So the same way we love instinctively from our patriarchs, so too, the natural fear that we might cause or create some kind of a separation. We don't want to be separate from our family, from our father, or from ourselves. We're scared of, we have the fear of dying or being in pain or being hurt. So when one feels that Hashem is the true source of his life, he will fear to transgress so as not become separated from his true life. The feeling of Hashem being one's true father also keeps one from sinning, since he doesn't want to disappoint his father. He doesn't want to be torn away from his father. Although both the above mentioned degrees of love and fear are instinctively found within every single Jew, then nevertheless, even though they're instinctively found within every single Jew, nevertheless, they're not termed natural fear and love unless they are in the mind and thought alone and in the latency of the heart, which means that we have to think about it. It's not something that just happens automatically, even though technically it's always within us, we have to still bring it out. And then their place is in the 10 spheres of Yetzirah, the place and level of the natural emotions, to where they raise up with them the Torah and the mitzvahs of which they had been the inspiration and cause. So these levels of love are the cause of the performance of one's Torah mitzvahs, they result from the portrayal of his love in his mind. How do we truly bring nachas? How do we bring the delight to God? If your father tells you to do something and you do it, he'll be proud and you'll be happy to do it for him. How do we give Hashem nachas? By doing his mitzvahs, by putting on the tefillin, by doing things that ordinarily we might not think they're so important, but if they're important to God, we'll do it for him. But when the 2 degrees of love, are in a manifest state in the heart as a result of a person sitting down and thinking, again, God's a part of me and he's my Father in heaven. And they're called in the Zayhar, the desire, the heart's desire. The heart's desire is a more intense love than a natural love. A natural love is like, okay, that's the way I was brought up, to love this, to enjoy that. Certain traditions that we have, certain foods, certain smells. But when I worked on it and thought about it, then it's mine. It's my heart's desire. And their place, again, the heart's desire, their place in the 10 spheres, they raise up with them the Torah mitzvahs of which they have been the cause, meaning which have been performed with this love. So the reason this is indeed so, notwithstanding the fact that they are naturally found within every Jew, is now given. Why is there a higher level? So don't forget, we may have had this love as an inheritance from our forefathers, but they lie dormant. They lie still at hate, like hibernating. We have to bring out that love. So it might be inside of our hearts, but unless we put our concentration and intense meditation on this thing, on this idea, on this concept, and usually we can do it during the Shema, where we declare our love for Hashem, and we bring it out. Now we're bringing out the fact that God's our life. We think about it over and over and over, just like whatever skill you want to get good at, you got to practice over and over and over until it becomes automatic. The very fact that God's our life and the fact that he's our Father. And this contemplation, when we close our eyes, and we think that's why we close our eyes when we say Shema, so we can think deeply into this. And it takes it takes practice. And it's so powerful and deep that even more so, you should know that it's written. It's so powerful. It's well known that there, in the worlds of Bria, nests the supernal mother, meaning the level of Bina Vatzilus, very high spiritual level, which in terms of man's spiritual service is the contemplation of the infinite light of God. How can you even contemplate the infinite light of God? I don't know. But so it says in the Zohar. And this is in accordance with the teachings of Eliyahu, in Tikkun Zohar, in the section beginning Pasuk Leo. Bina is in the heart, and with it the heart understands. This means to say that the meditation and understanding takes place in the mind, taking place in the mind. So what happens is when you think about it deeply, super deeply, I don't know if we could reach that level, but in theory, that's where it happens, and then it has an effect on the heart. So since the contemplation of godliness is related to the world of Bria, of understanding, the world which is illuminated by Bina Vatzilos, it follows that the various forms of love which are revealed through such contemplation, and we're talking about deep thinking, have their place in that world as well. And it is there that they elevate one's Torah mitzvahs. So since these two kinds of love, the love that Hashem is a part of us and the love that God is our Father in heaven and we want to bring him joy and delight, since these two kinds of love possess all these qualities, it would seem that they should suffice. Love born wholly of intellect is not necessary. Nevertheless, and klolois min bechinas avarabo gedel melas techlir chimas siklim asher ha'ahava nikres leel b'shem avas. So these two categories of love that have been referred to above, the love of my soul and the love like a son, incorporate a quality of love which is greater and more sublime than intelligent fear and love. So it's deep. It really is emotional. But how do we get to that point? Through intelligent fear and love, the kind that result from contemplating God's greatness, the love termed avas olam, general overarching love. And these two kinds of love also partake of the quality of avarabba, which is loftier than avas olam, but it might be more temporary or might be more fleeting, meaning harder to achieve. The takeaway for today, Chavra, is that you love life and you love your father. You fear separating from your life and from your father. So what we do is we try to channel this feeling. This is a way that we can think about Hashem. That Hashem is a part of us. That's our life, and we love him. And we love our father, which is Hashem, Avinu Makenu, Father our King. So we contemplate and we delve deeply on how Hashem is your life and he's your father, and then the love and the fear will follow. Not easy if you're hearing this concept for the first time, but if you think about it deeply, it could affect your mindset, and then it affects your emotions, your heart. And then as the Alter Rebbe is trying to train us, that when we say we should love and fear God, it's terms that people just throw out there, like, oh, you should love God. This is the way. This is the right way to do it, to come from an eternal contemplation, deep contemplation that affects the emotions. Okay, Chavra, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow morning.